The Big 4-0. Jenn Robin on the Big 4-0. Special guest today, Memorial Day weekend.
Yes, sir.
We're here on what is today? Sunday. Yeah, we're here on a Sunday doing a podcast because we love to do podcasts.
We love to do podcasts. We love to get the message out of mind, body, soul health. We preach it. Our whole mission is to help our clients become the best version of themselves. We have a friend of the family.
Of course. We're all family here.
All family. Friend of the family who just went through an accelerated transformation. So this is going to be an exciting one. And I'm gonna talk to that too. Just kidding. But anyway, so yeah, this is podcast 40. Jeremy, good job, man.
You too, man. Good job.
Yeah, you were worried.
I was not worried.
Here we are. When you start podcast 1, 2, 5, it's like, well, are we going to get to 40? Are we going to get to 100? Here we are, 40. So today is Sunday, which just shows that we're at work.
Come on, man. This ain't work. This is fun.
Yeah, but it's work that's fun for us that we get to do. But again, we're putting in what's needed to help people and continue the success and growth of our company, and it just shows. Good job, man.
Yeah, it's
came in on a Sunday.
Yeah, and this feeds us too. I mean, it's right. Goes both ways. Helps others and ourselves.
So yeah, we're fortunate to have Jenn here. Jenn, welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, it's a
podcast voice.
Podcast,
I know.
Best podcast voice.
I needed tea. I told you.
And we're live. We're live. We've got another camera that we're gonna fix the audio and the video as well. But those that can't wait till next Thursday, you can watch it now. Or watch it later because it's so beautiful outside. It's perfect Memorial Day Sunday. Our hearts and prayers go out to those that served. We're grateful for them. We're grateful to be able to be grateful for this country, for freedom, to be entrepreneurs, so I just want to take a second and be grateful and remember those that sacrificed and their families. Thank you. So we are, Jenn.
Yes.
Welcome again. So let's break the ice a little bit.
Okay.
How was your day?
It was great. I woke up, I meditated, journaled, and then drove here to Cleveland to you guys.
So is meditation and journaling a daily thing?
Yes. So
every day.
Probably like every other day, or sometimes I do yoga and then right after I have so much thoughts that come to me, so I make sure I journal like after yoga.
Got it. So talk to us about the meditation that you do. Is it guided? Is it quiet time? Like how do you meditate?
So after yoga, it's just quiet that I meditate, and then it depended on whatever feeling that I'm feeling. I usually will go on YouTube and do like a guided meditation, right. And then go based on that. Sometimes it's just ocean sounds, and sometimes it is guided.
Nice. Journaling, are there like high topics that you think about to start the journaling, or?
No, it's whatever emotions arise. Like I make sure I put it on the paper. I see it, I feel it, and then I just try not to judge myself. I just write everything out so that way I can actually like acknowledge it and then let those emotions pass.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Because that's
pretty important.
It's pretty important, and it's really awesome. And we have plenty of podcasts that we talk about journaling and the importance of it. Can you talk to how you feel after you do put mind to pen to paper? And what the difference is of when you don't?
I feel like it's more freeing. Like when I just have all these thoughts and emotions within me, it feels like heavier inside of me. Or I find myself venting to friends or family, and then I feel a burden to them. So it's just being self-aware and just coming back internally of what's going on, and then just self-reflecting. So it keeps me more centered as a person.
Right.
And it just makes me feel like light and free once I get all of those emotions out.
Right. Because it increases that level of consciousness, and now you've relieved some stress, you've relieved some thoughts, you can be more at peace.
And some things come up that maybe I wouldn't have told friends or family, so it's just a safe place to go, and it's just you and the pen and paper. So it's a very like free and safe place that you can always turn to.
Yeah, well said.
Well, very well said. Yoga.
Yoga, I love yoga.
I love yoga.
It's my scapegoat.
So talk to us about your yoga journey.
So I decided to quit drinking.
Okay.
So once I decided to quit drinking, I wanted to get into just a healthier habit and routine. So I got into yoga.
Mm-hmm.
And I just found that I challenged my mind in different ways, my body in different ways. And it was just a place like 1 hour a day that I committed to myself every day, sometimes twice a day in the beginning.
Right.
But it was just a change in routine and habit to help me get on like a healthier path.
Right. So talk to me about, why yoga, strength training, cardio, like what's in yoga that...
So I think like one of the things I actually journaled today was I think in the beginning I was using yoga in a distraction way, like a very obsessive, impulsive as well way.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more of like a cardio workout, something to just push myself. After a year probably of not drinking, I really had to like pull back and self-reflect of also, is this another distraction in my life? So I was doing hot power yoga. So it was like an intense workout. And like I said, I was doing it twice a day sometimes.
Wow.
And it didn't matter what I felt, happy, sad, mad, I turned to yoga. So then I was relating too many emotions to this one hobby. So I actually started to do more of either yin yoga, which is more of a stretching, practical, like you're in a position for 4 to 5 minutes.
Wow.
So it slows you down more, and that's what I needed because I constantly was on the go or pushing myself to my limits, where that wasn't my issue. I actually needed to sit with myself and take things slower and reflect. So once I started doing that, I really appreciated yoga in a whole different way.
Yeah.
But that was after a year of doing hot power, extreme yoga.
But everything takes time, right? For me, journaling was so hard at the beginning to do it consistently and to do it authentically and honestly, and same with meditation, man. Type A.
Yeah.
To sit me down for 10 minutes with my thoughts was just, I was all over the place. So I needed the guided meditation. I still need the guided meditation, but I do catch myself meditating everywhere, right? In the car, in the sauna, working out, etc. So everything takes time, and yoga, if and when I go on that journey too, I can imagine that it's going to take time for me to really enjoy it and get out of self. And
I feel like it's a energy exchange. I believe in a lot. So in my line of work, I do eyelashes. So I'm touching clients.
You have perfect eyes.
Thank you. I don't do my own, but
don't do your own.
No. So my lash technician will really appreciate that comment.
Sure.
But yeah, I do now see myself after I have one client, it's for 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
I go into the bathroom or I take a minute to myself and just release whatever energy that we had in exchange from whatever they brought in, whatever I gave to them, just release all that for my next client to come in. It's just kind of like a clean slate, where before I would play distracting music, I would power through my clients, I would talk, or they would talk, and it would just be a lot I consumed as far as energy of other people's energy. So now I play meditation music throughout the day, the whole, like if I work 7 hours, I have meditation on for 7 hours. And my clients, I notice a difference within them. And I also notice a difference now when I leave work. I feel light. I feel like I could go for a run right after work. I feel free. I feel like I didn't just work.
Just from changing the music.
Just from changing the music.
Just from changing music, but more than that, also mindset and clearing the energy that you just gave a client, which we can absolutely learn from as well. Because we do sometimes feel like we're jumping from client to client to client, and we energize ourselves, and I think we're good at it, but it would be very healthy if we just took 5 minutes and just meditated.
Take a breath.
Take a breath.
Yeah. Just breathe.
Just breathe.
Yeah.
Just breathe. Okay, so we kind of fast forwarded, so we're going to go back a little bit. So tell us about Jenn. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts.
Nice. I love Boston.
Yes. Boston's a great place.
I don't like Boston sports.
No. I mean, I'm not a big sports person, but I will stand by them.
It's like it's never enough. They can win
I
10 Super Bowls and 10 hockey Stanley Cups and World Series and everything. It's just never enough for the Boston fans. But, so I always have a fight with my Boston very close friends. We have a text back and forth. But other than that, I love the city. I love the seafood.
It was a great place to grow up.
So, till what age did you live in Boston?
So I moved to Ohio. I was 19 turning 20.
Got it.
So it was a very spontaneous decision. My sister moved here and she just kind of was like, move here. It's so cheap. The cost of living, it's an easier lifestyle. Why not?
Why would anyone not want to live here?
Yeah. It's
But you don't have the Boston accent.
So I worked in sales for like 9 years of my life. So I had to retrain myself in order to sell because nobody could understand me. So it was either make sales or repeat myself.
Got it. So what moved your sister here?
She had the person she was dating, her grandmother actually lived in the city that I live in. So it was kind of spontaneous for them as well.
Got it.
And at that moment, it seemed like it was one of the worst decisions I made. But now reflecting back, it's one of the best decisions. Like I am so happy and grateful to be in Ohio at a slower pace where I really got to learn who I am and what I want and what type of lifestyle that I want to live.
Right. Yeah, again, we as humans are always so intimidated by change and growth, and we always look at it as this negative way. But when we do turn it around and turn how we I guess react to it and how we embrace it, no one ever, once they're in a good place, looks back and says, "I wish I didn't put in the work."
Yeah,
like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So. And again, it's common to be scared of change and not want to change, and then do the change, and then it's like, my God. So most hardships follow by growth, and which sounds like this is the case. That's great. Okay, so 19.
Yes, so I was 19, turning 20. The first year I lived here, I did travel back to Boston a lot. It's like I wasn't completely adjusted to Ohio.
Right.
I also got a DUI the first year I moved here. So that was very shocking and hard.
Right.
Especially being in a new place and then dealing with, I was playing the victim of like, I had one drink or it's not that bad.
It's not your fault.
Or it's not my fault.
Right.
So I really just continued that lifestyle for a long time of just kind of falling into society's patterns of just going out on the weekends and drinking and driving. And it just, when I look at it now, like at that time I played the victim when I got the DUI and was mad at the cop or mad at my sister because I was going to pick her up or, anybody else but myself. But now when I look back, I'm just grateful that I didn't harm myself. I didn't harm somebody else. And this was a lesson I had to learn because eventually that would have happened if this didn't put a stop to me.
Right.
So.
Or worse.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. So catch us up. So what have you?
So I still really didn't learn my lesson completely then.
Right.
I just, went through the steps of getting my license back and just being more mindful, use Uber, use friends or family to drive. So now I'm 32. So that was a while ago when I got a DUI at 20. I just continued to live. I was always like very self-motivated, self-efficient. So I always had stability as far as making sure my environment was safe. Like I had a home, I had a car, I had a stable job. Right. So from the outside, it seemed like everything was great. But internally, I was hurting. I was not happy with myself. I used alcohol as a distraction, as something to fulfill something that I was lacking. And without knowing it, I needed to go internally to figure out what I was really missing. Right. So I just continued to do that. So I haven't drank. So about 3 years ago, I actually went to Boston to visit somebody from my past. And I came home and just felt so unfulfilled and not happy. And I was like, I need to do something different. So I remember I was like scrolling on social media and I was like, that's it. I need to get off social media. That will fix all my problems. So I got off social media and still my problems were there. So then I actually got back on social media. It's like a drug itself. And somebody I follow, who I actually do not even know, posted about a Sober October challenge. And it was October in about like 3 days. I was also going to Aruba and I was going with friends and I was petrified that I was going to get in a fight with, because that was the pattern of my drinking habits. Is I would drink, I would wander off, I would fight with friends and family. So I was just like nervous thinking about it. And I was like, this will solve the problem. I just will do Sober October. I will not drink. Right. So I didn't tell anybody my choice. I landed in Aruba and I met my friends there who flew in from Boston. And I was like, hey, just so you guys know, like, I'm going to do Sober October. And they were like, we did not bring Rehab Jenn with us on this trip. Like, do it after the trip. Why now? And I started doubting my decision because, number one, I never spoke it out loud. I only said it to myself, so nobody could hold me accountable. So I doubted myself. We were at the airport, there was duty free. And I was like, well, if I do decide to drink, I'm going to want alcohol. So I purchased alcohol. Wow. We went to the Airbnb. So out of habit. So then, we went out the next morning. I'm laying by the pool and out of habit, I was like, I just want to make a drink. I want to lay by the water. I'm on vacation. And I stopped myself. I was like, let these feelings pass. Right. Continue laying out, continue doing what I was doing for the day, and let that feeling pass. So that's what I did. So I didn't drink. And then I went to the beach. I actually had more fun. I had the time of my life. And It was like, I don't need alcohol. Like, who I am is enough. And if anything, I am putting myself in danger when I do drink because my guard is down. I'm not as self-aware. I'm not protecting myself. So it was very empowering for me to not want to drink, because everybody around me was encouraging me to drink, but I was still going out. I was still just as fun. I was still doing everything I would have done if I was drunk, just without the mess. Right. So I didn't do it. I didn't drink.
But it just sounds like this turmoil of mind obsession is just so...
Yeah, I went back and forth in my mind. What about just one shot? Or why not drink? I don't have a problem. Right. So it was like I was trying to give myself excuses, but then I was also...
Oh, I know.
Holding myself accountable.
I know too well. But no, yeah, so that's the issue, is the fact that mind obsession of, do I drink, do I not drink? Do I have one? Can I have one? Or should I have one or two? Yeah. And then I can drink one or two with friends and they won't know that I had three or four. Yeah. Like, it's all this thinking.
Or I even thought about, like, I could lie and I could have a drink. Or no, I could make it seem like I drank and didn't, because then people would stop pressuring me. Right. So it was a lot of, I actually felt like I didn't have support. If anything, it was very challenging. Like, I felt like nobody was on the same. It's like people complained when I would get drunk and wander off and do these self-destructive things. Sure. But then when I decided to make the change, then it was like, why not just have one drink? That's, you should be able to drink and have fun and have self-control. So it was challenging for sure.
You feel like I have control over everything. Why
Yeah.
can't I have control over alcohol?
Well, I wasn't challenging myself as far as like the more people pressured me to drink, the more, because I wanted to be in control, it actually turned me away. Like I was like,
Got it.
at what point, like, why do you want me to drink? What's the benefit for you? I'm still doing all the things I would do,
Right.
just without actually putting toxin in my body. So it was
And without the fights and
Yes.
being
Yeah.
obnoxious and
And
all
being self-aware.
that.
Yeah.
That's an amazing approach to take when you go out with a group of people and they're pressuring you. That's a good opportunity to take control of yourself and be like, actually, look, this is something I can control.
Yeah. So
It's a good start.
I think the issue was
But again, you're putting yourself in a really difficult position.
in the beginning.
But if you
Yeah.
can take control in that very difficult beginning, then the next time it happens, it becomes easier and easier and easier.
Most can't.
So I think
Just saying.
the one thing I learned from this whole experience is because I was sober for a year, and during that whole time, it was just more about like
So
preaching.
Aruba kicked off a year, October.
Almost 3 now. Yeah. So sober October, I didn't.
So from sober October, you still haven't drank?
I still have a drink. Yeah.
It's amazing.
From that one decision.
From that one decision.
At
From
what-
somebody on social media who I never met before
Yep.
in my life posted. And
That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's the best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Literally, and I've heard a lot. When do you think that should I drink, should I not drink, where pressure even felt like pressure? When do you think that mind obsession over alcohol left you?
it's still
How
a
long?
challenge. I
Still
just
a
went to
challenge.
Nashville last week to visit family, and I was like, I kind of want to drink. And then I have to remind myself, why do I want to drink? What is it that I think I'm going to get fulfilled from if I have a drink?
Right.
And it's about doing the things like, let's say I haven't gone out lately. So maybe I just need to step inside wherever the social event is that I'm trying to go and do that and
Right.
feel, now what do I feel in this present moment? So instead it's like, before I go out, I'm trying to fast forward the night. How is it going to go? What's going to happen? Am I going to have fun? So I fast forward and I think maybe I should just start drinking
Right.
and not be in control and not worry. But that is the opposite of what I want, truly.
Totally going down a different road
Yeah.
than you're on right now.
Yeah.
Is
If
the
I
point,
decide, yeah.
right? How did you guys meet?
Through a mutual friend, or was it through?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you guys just
For a mutual friend.
That sounded sketchy.
No. So tell me about it. Tell me how you guys met and became close friends. Like,
Well,
There's
actually,
gotta be a little
so
story.
so actually, I worked with Jen. Well, Jen worked with me, right? We worked with each
Yeah.
other. We did some coaching
Yeah.
for a
Okay.
while. This was
Yeah.
what, like a year ago?
I think it was like almost 2 years ago now.
2 years
was
ago
it?
now, yeah. Yeah, it was during the pandemic, right?
Yeah. Or no, it was after. Because it was after the pandemic. No, maybe it was like, I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, I was
The timeline?
I was building my social media from not having any presence, and I knew Jen knew a lot about social media. She built up her business through social media, so she was giving me
Yeah.
advice on that, and we just remained friends. And then one day she's like, "Jeremy, I need your help." So we just started working together and just
so you life coached her. She social media coached you.
yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah,
See, I knew there was a story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we've remained awesome friends since.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah,
And
Jeremy, I remember like one day I was having a really hard time and I was walking in the park and Jeremy was like, is there a place you can sit? Is there a place that you can just, do you remember?
I remember that, yeah.
And then he took me on this, like, I swear it was like a trauma train of like emotions. And then he had to go and I was like, you cannot leave me. And it's so funny because I already was by myself at the park and I was already aware of that. But then I felt so connected to Jeremy that I was like, wait, like
Right.
you're on this journey with me. So I knew I like needed to work with Jeremy. It was a safe place. It was someone I felt comfortable with. He's very knowledgeable of how to handle like childhood trauma, how to, just communicate with people in the way that like really helped me reflect back on like within
Right.
to deal with whatever I was dealing with.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Saved my life.
Yeah, Jeremy.
That saved my life too.
So that's great. So it sounds like a lot of like nuggets led to this last. Like you've put in some work, and I don't call it work, but we'll talk about that in a second. You put in some work over the last few years, and then recently, and thus the us getting excited and saying we need her on and we want to talk about it, is this accelerated transformation. Like you just recently made a decision that I just need to take it to another level.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. So what was the decision? What led to it?
I think I was having I like the continuous patterns of like fighting with family and friends. It still was happening. So I cut out the things that I thought would change my whole life. So I cut out alcohol. I cut out gluten and dairy. I cut out, like there's so many things. It was like, this is the problem. And once I eliminate that, my life will be great. And it wasn't, so, but I kept reaching external instead of internal. So I had to just stop and realize like, if all of these patterns were still happening, there's something broken still inside of me.
Right.
And what am I suppressing? What am I not actually dealing with? And things would trigger me. And instead I would shut down and I would do yoga. I'd pull away from friends and family. I would pretend I was okay. So it was just being able to like effectively communicate with my family and friends, because I'm so grateful that I have such self-aware people in my life that care enough to drop whatever they're doing in their personal life to make sure I am okay.
Right.
But without telling them that I need them, they don't know. So I think that's the number one thing is in a world of social media, in a world of everybody live it, projecting their best life.
Right.
You have to pull back and just say like, I'm not okay. And that is okay too.
Sure.
So that was actually one of the conversations I had with my sister, who lives here. She came over and I was going through it like bad. And I was just crying to her. She sat with me for hours and was so patient. The way I could see that she loved me and cared. This is someone who is in my life and just is there. So, I was like, I am going to need you. And she was like, I've never heard you say that. Right. You have always been like, I'm fine. Everything's fine. So it made me realize like these small changes I am making in my life are creating this new version of me that I want to be. Because
you're empowering her.
Yeah.
Right. You empowered her, who has full empathy for you, who has full love for you, and it, people felt like that guard was up, right?
Yeah.
And now you're letting them in.
Yep.
And they've wanted to, which is amazing. So what
So the shift basically was so I had a previous like friendship relationship that it just triggered a lot of emotions in me, and I had to turn. It's like it was so easy to point the finger outward, but the person was very patient with me, so I was able to learn the lesson, because there's only so many times that you can project on somebody else.
Sure.
So at a point it felt like a hamster wheel. Like I felt like I was repeating myself, saying the same things, doing the same patterns, and I just one day I must have been off for like 4 days, because I swear it was like a 4-day period that all I did was meditate. All I did was cry. I had my blinds wide open. I shut my blinds. I lit candles. I laid out my yoga mat and just cried and like felt every emotion, whatever I felt, and journaled. And I was having like a anxiety feeling in my stomach for about like 3 months. I couldn't get it out. No matter what I did, no matter how much I exercised, no matter how much I was around family and friends, I flew back to Boston. I thought that would help me. It was worse, So it was, I was trying to run for myself. I was trying to distract myself. And I was like, no matter how many vacations I booked, no matter how many things I bought, I recently moved, no matter the environment I was in, I brought me with me. Yeah. So I shut down, and I was feeling like an abandonment triggered emotion. And I was well aware of that. So I just went on YouTube and I typed in like abandonment meditation, and it changed my life. Like the meditation that I did, it was a guided meditation that made me realize that the little girl inside of me, I was abandoned in. Nobody else was doing that to me.
Right.
I left that person. I left that little girl. And it was going back to, which Jeremy, we did a meditation like this, and that's what also helped me. But going back to an exact moment that from my childhood and reliving it and just acknowledging like the emotions, the feelings, whatever I was going through, and not even changing the narrative, just having the presence of my adult version is here. I see what's going on. I'm sorry no one protected you. I see you now.
So you talked to that little girl.
Yeah. So it was...
That's a Jeremy Turchinski.
Yes.
This is not anything I invented.
Chess move right there, and it helped me too. It's amazing. It's amazing how that's...
So it made me, within that meditation, it was a 45-minute meditation, and it helped me just realize I was suppressing whatever distractions I thought like having my own business would make me happy, move into a different apartment, or cutting out dairy and gluten, like all of those things were just distractions. Like I had to like rip apart all of that and just see me for me without like labels and without just like acknowledging like what I really want in life. And like I want to be protected, I want to be seen, I want to be loved. And the relationship I'm creating as an adult are proven the opposite.
Wow.
I think that's what everybody wants.
I was just going to say that this is so inspirational because every single person is suppressing something.
Yeah.
And suppressing themselves and Jenn doing the work is on herself and seeking it and making the decision to get over it.
Yeah. While
others will live on till death with this. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I think it's putting up a wall, because ultimately everybody, I'm sure at one point, has been hurt or something has happened in their life. So they're trying to, it's a coping mechanism, it's a protection. But really, I'm hurting myself more, because if these are the things that I want, I do have to let my guard down. And I also have to change, and I also have to trust again. So it was like one of those things that I just realized, like the situations, whether I am not letting somebody in or approaching unavailable men, or I'm self-sabotaging myself because I'm not setting myself up for a healthy, loving relationship.
Right.
So I'm really abandoning the child version of myself.
Yeah, and you said that caused like this pit of anxiety, right? For like months and months.
For months.
So after you did your 4-day meditation and work, what did it go
instantly,
away?
So not even after 4 days. So once I did that 45-minute meditation, I meditated that day for actually 4 hours, like 4 hours straight of crying, of journaling, of going through everything. And once I got up off the mat, I had no more anxiety. And even you get addicted to that. Like I actually got addicted to those emotions that I still, even at being self-aware of what I just realized, I realize I have so much more work to do.
So something toxic literally left your body.
Something toxic left my body. I had no more anxiety, like till this day. Like after doing that, I have not had that. Like I couldn't eat. I was so stressed out, and I haven't felt that way since that exact day that I shut down and did that meditation.
So you feel like you've changed on a physiological level.
Yes.
The body has changed. A new being has been created.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, and the meditation is addicting itself, because you want to have that transformation feeling every time. So then I woke up the next day like I'm excited to learn something new about myself. But and it's not like that every day. Like
it happens when it's going to happen.
So there's days sometimes that I also took this from you, Jeremy, from when you coached me. It was like, just write 10 things you're grateful for, you know? And it's just like that we take for granted. Like sometimes I'll just write like running water, you know, a safe place, you know, just things that like you overlook every day. So it's just every day doesn't have to be this exhausting breakthrough. It's just being aware too and being present in the moment and just feeling what you're feeling.
But basically what I'm hearing is you're saying like this breakthrough is awesome and it's something like some people are scared to do, but then once it happens, then it's like, it's done. My God.
Yeah.
Right?
It was amazing. It's like I said, it's addicting because I want to have that feeling of a breakthrough now all the time. But now I just have to live in the moment of this new breakthrough. And now I'm very intentional. Now I know what I want. Now I pull it back. I'm very self-aware. Like I said, like with my family, a lot of the times they would say like put up a wall and I would push people away. So when I notice I'm doing that, I actually pull back and instead of not acknowledging it, I bring up that uncomfortable conversation of, hey, maybe I wasn't mindful of this. Could I have done something different? Where normally I've been like, I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to go do yoga or I'm going to go for a run or go distract myself.
Self-awareness is probably and just general mindfulness is the biggest gift.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what we all have. Yeah, we have this high level of consciousness inside of us that's there. It's just grab it, go get it.
Right. And the whole world is designed for distraction. I mean, social, I need a drink, I need it's totally designed for that. And that's, to segue into a commercial, but that's the point of mind, body, soul wellness.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the workout.
Yep.
Right. And it's not just the eating better. It's how do you become more mindful? How do you overcome these, whatever you call it, demons or whatever else that are holding you back and learn to live life. I mean, life is not perfect. It'll never be perfect. It'll always come with some.
Well, so with emotion, like that, like you said, like TV or drinks. So when I'm starting to feel like, let's say I have a feeling of loneliness that comes up, people will just turn on the TV and distract themselves.
100%.
So now you have to just check in. Like, okay, if I feel lonely, what do I need? Maybe call a friend or family member, go hang out with them. So it's actually just like taking that second, instead of letting your emotions take over, you have to be more emotionally intelligent. You have to not let your emotions like run mayhem inside your brain and just consume you. You just have to acknowledge them, let them pass, and then actually see the best decision that's going to be fulfilling for you. So it's just doing like little shifts and just checking in with yourself, I think, is the most important.
Which is not that hard, right?
No, it's 1 extra second. Before you make that compulsive, like turn the
pick
TV
up the
on.
phone or something like that's also an intention you're making.
Yes.
To pick up the phone and block that emotion versus if you just kind of sit there for maybe 5 minutes, why am I having this emotion, and kind of flash the light on it, then it dissipates.
Gold. Okay, so let's talk about moving forward maintenance on this. So obviously the big, huge awakening transformation moment. Obviously, that's not sustainable to have every day, and so you sound like you're now at peace with that. And so let's talk about maintenance moving forward with your life. What do you think about when the self-awareness, when the mindfulness comes out? What's that process look like? So you stop, you think about it?
Yeah, I think that's the most important. Like I said, I had a problem, like as far as like I would use yoga as far as like doing it 2 times a day, and it's considered a healthy habit and hobby. But the way I was doing it was I needed to stop and check in with myself and ask myself, like, what is it that I'm really feeling and what is it that I need? So for even these last like 3 months, every day as a routine, I'd wake up at like 8 in the morning and do yoga, but I would still work out. And sometimes I would be like mentally and physically exhausted, and that's not what I needed. Right. So now instead I wake up and I go on my yoga mat, and there's times I don't need a physical workout. I need meditation for my mind. So I just really try to be intentional and check in what I really need for that day at that moment. because routine is important, but it's also important to be self-aware of what your body needs at that moment of the day.
Right.
So I just try to be more intentional with my days and my habits and my hobbies.
And your moments.
My moments.
And the moments.
Yeah.
What's next for Jenn Robin?
So what is next? I do feel like since then that this has made me realize like I have a higher purpose, that I'm here for. It's just what's fulfilling to me is to be able to like help other people and to be able to be there and be understanding and be compassionate.
Oh, you've helped other people on this podcast for sure. This is, we always joke that this podcast is the best. I think this one's the best.
It's definitely the best podcast today.
Yeah, today.
No, I think it's up
There's
there.
only 140.
I think it's up there just in the continuous, the inspiration that you're coming off of this continuous search for growth to be the best version of yourself, like you said, like we say, and how many people are okay with not, and again, how many more years need to fly by or decades before they wake up and want to really, and again, let's talk about that for a second, because again, it sounds like work. It sounds like a lot of work, and you've definitely put in work. But talk about the difference between work of bettering yourself and this self-awareness and mindfulness and journaling and versus that previous life of work.
I think it has made me just really, like I said, like acknowledge the people around me and the life that I created for myself. Like I have the best people around me that I could ask for. And when I was drinking and when I was just distracting myself, I wasn't as like mindful to their lives. Like I thought I was the center of everybody's life.
Right.
And it was
we're all living in Jenn's world.
Yeah, that's what I truly thought. Like I was like, when things would happen, I'd be like, well, don't they know this would make me mad, sad, happy? And it's like, no, they're also living their reality. So it really had to like humble me in a way that people have busy lives. And if you have people that really check in with you and care about you, like you also have to acknowledge them and be just as appreciative and grateful for them, because I can't imagine going through this journey and not having supportive friends and family, because that's truly, we seek that as humans. Like we need community, we need people, we need friends and family. So I took all that for granted before.
Right.
I moved away from my family at 19, so besides my one sister. So I think it's my last trip last weekend. I went to Nashville, and normally that's something I would have made an excuse. I wouldn't have went, but I went and spent time with my whole family, and it was amazing. So so I really make it a priority now to like check in with my family. We're in group chats now. We're, just planning trips, and I actually feel connected to them where before I just felt like I wasn't fully present because I was on my phone, or I would, have friends. I would have friends come visit me in Boston instead of like utilizing that time to spend with my family. Now I'm prioritizing my family.
The heart is open.
Yeah.
The heart is open.
Shining bright. Yeah. That's where all the energy comes from.
That's where all the energy comes from. That's where peace comes from.
Yeah.
That's what's important, is peace. And because that's stress is the killer. The stress and the mind obsessions versus the mindfulness is a huge difference, right? And I mean, so much of your story is so much of my story, and just again, everyone lived in my world.
Yep.
But I was this, toxic tornado of just hurricane.
My sister
if a hurricane can join a tornado.
Call me Hurricane Jenn. Yeah, like if I would come in town, she's like, Hurricane Jenn's coming.
Category 5.
But I was this ball of stress, and then I would drink because of the stress, but the drink just caused more stress.
Yeah.
And if I was talking to anyone, it wasn't with empathy. It was with I joke that I was playing, well, it's not a joke, it's not funny, but I would be playing chess with people that weren't playing chess back, right?
Yeah.
Like I had these agendas and angles and whatever else, and never, I don't want to say never, but just didn't look at human beings.
Yeah.
Like there's so much of your story that's totally mirrors mine. And to me, the biggest blessing for me is catching these character flaws, right? Of oh, am I making it about me again? Am I trying to manipulate the situation? And I'm a manipulator for sure. And is it authentic? Like, do I really think that and feel that way? Or again, is it with an agenda? Do I have empathy for this person who's living their life in their world? So I mean, hats off to you, and that's why, you know, our hashtag too, within the journey lies the joy. Like there's so much joy that comes from this personal growth, and you know what I'm saying? Like just authentic.
Yeah, I think even I went and did a 3-day so the YouTube yoga that I do, I signed up for his program. I went to Columbus because he was there and did a 3-day class with him, and
retreat type.
It was like a retreat, and it was incredible. And like even after that, I like went up to him and thanked him. I was like, "Thank you for being so self-aware, for going through this journey to now touch all these people in this room." You know, so like it makes me turn and like be great, even for you guys, like to be this self-aware and to do the work. Like I know you're saying it's easy, but it is a hard journey to begin, you know, and once you begin it, that's where it's like you can't go back.
My comparison, I mean, as far as easy, yes.
It's easier.
Working out,
5
days a week and becoming self-aware and journaling it sounds like work to those that don't do it.
Yeah.
But for me, why I say that it's not work is because that life was work.
Yeah.
Being the tornado, being full of stress.
A lot of energy in a tornado.
It really was.
Being the stress, that ripple effect of my stress, the drinking, all that was work. It was a lot more work than this. Yeah. And this work makes me feel better. That work made me feel worse. Yeah. And that's why I don't call it work. Like but it's definitely work to those that aren't in that journey, for sure. It just, because again, it's change. It's what we started this podcast with. Anything different, change and growth feels like work. But again, it's once you're in it and you start doing it and you catch that momentum and you've laid out these pedals for years. Yeah. And now you're just like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it now. I think I figured it out. But I still have a lot of work to do.
Yep.
When's your book coming out?
So it's going to be spring 2024.
Nice. Date is set.
I will have an autograph book copy
signing,
for both of you guys and
nice,
sign in here at Zero Doubt.
We'll buy. How many clients will we have by then?
Hundreds.
So we'll buy the first few hundred.
I do think so. That's one of the things. Like I realized, like a lot in my life, I will downplay because I want to seem relatable to people, and it's like you have to just acknowledge your journey, and it could touch so many other people. So a lot of the times, like even yesterday I went out and somebody's like, "What do you do for a living?" I was like, "Oh, I just do eyelashes." He's like, "So you're an esthetician?" And I was like, "Yeah," but like there's schooling behind it. I did. There's, other things like I am my own boss. In my own social media.
You're an entrepreneur. You're a female entrepreneur. Like there's so much.
Yeah, but instead I'm just like, I do eyelashes. So I think that, it's good to be humbled, but you also have to acknowledge your own like things that you've done for yourself, and also be like empathetic towards yourself, because I'm very empathetic towards others and compassionate. And if somebody turned to me with a problem, I would be like, it's okay, and there's tomorrow. And to me, I'm like, no, you can't sleep now until you figure this out right now. And it's,
so your best advice, someone's right now that's drinking, stress at work, stress in family, on the couch watching TV, lonely, eating too much, lonely. How do how do they make the decision, and what's the first actual steps that you recommend?
So I think number one is writing that down, because I think it's the hamster wheel effect. If you just keep thinking it, it's just going to keep spiraling in your mind. So you have to get it out on paper so that way you can kind of like dissect it. What is the emotion that, say I want to drink? Why do I want to drink? Is it to fit in? Is it to be that same version of myself? Is it to be more social? Is
escape.
It, escape. So it's, I think, just acknowledging what is related to the action that you're trying to do, because then you can understand yourself better and
right.
what you really need instead of just doing the same things over and over.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming in. You're a superstar.
Thank you guys for having me.
You'll be on again.
Yes.
You'll be on again.
Next breakthrough.
Yeah.
See you in 2 weeks. This just in. Jenn's coming in 2 weeks. She had another breakthrough.
I'm like, actually, my book is out. I'm here again.
Yeah. So this is part one with Jenn Robin. Part two will probably be the announcement of her starting the book, and then, or she's already started the book. I've seen your journal is already, your book has already been written. All you need
I
is
love journaling. I do. It's addicting. It's it's always there for you.
It's always there.
It's always there for you. So cool. Well, thank you, everyone. We hope we helped, and I don't hope, I know for a fact Jenn has helped someone out there, if not many of you. Enjoy time with the family this weekend. The cleaned up version will be posted on Thursday. Live is already live. Anything else, Jenn?
No, I just hope everyone has an amazing weekend, and always grateful for our listeners.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for listening to my story. I hope it's touched somebody out there and it makes a trickle effect. And yeah, I look forward to coming here again.
And that's the cool thing. I'm going to end it with the when people transform the life that you've touched today, will have a ripple effect on everyone in their lives. Yeah. And it'll just keep going. And those are the seeds that are planted. And that's what's amazing to hear and watch. And anyway. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
See you guys.
Podcast 40. We're out.
Bye.
Bye.